How you doing? I'm Louis Gamino with Enviroscape LA. We've been getting a lot of questions about components of a successful drip irrigation design and install. So we're here at our shop in Redondo Beach, California. You can see we have a lot of parts behind us and different valves, fittings, weather, rainwater sensors, all sorts of stuff, lighting. A lot goes into running a full service landscape business. This is our headquarters. But we're going to do a quick, short video on some components of a successful drip irrigation design. One is you're going to start with the appropriate valve. There are many different valves. They do sell a kit, which Rainbird does make. We install Rainbird valves as well as their Rainbird copper shell drip technology. This particular kit comes with an anti-siphon valve as well as a pressure regulator and a filter. So once these guys are hooked up, it has a mesh screen filter in there, as well as it's a pressure reducer, reduces it down to 30 psi. Now that is this particular valve and this particular pressure reducer. There is another pressure reducer that we do use, which reduces it down to 40 psi. This can get you 5 gallons per minute. The other one will get you a range from 3 to 15 that we use. It has a yellow sticker on it. This one is red. For purposes of a quick explanation, this valve can be utilized with the Rainbird copper shield drip tubing, which we have here. So you'd run a section of PVC out to the area that is intended to be irrigated, and you would have the PVC, and then you'd have something called a point of connection, where this tubing would connect to this PVC pipe here, if you notice. This is the Rainbird copper shield drip technology. We always install the 12-inch spacing. There is different spacings. They have an 18 and a 24-inch spacing. This has emitters every 12 inches, and those are pressure compensating emitters. So for our purposes, we install a 0.6 gallons per hour. So going by the specs made by the fine folks at Rainbird, I know that I could go ahead and install from one point of connection. I could run out over 350 feet. The book says 360, but we usually keep it around 300 just to be safe. Linear feet of this tubing per point of connection. Now, not to get too technical with you, but there are some rules that you have to abide by to install a proper irrigation system. One is if you're using this type of valve, you can only get 5 gallons per minute. So meaning you could probably get about 500 linear feet of this drip tubing, not to confuse you too much. However, this is all in writing here in the Rainbird book here. So if you notice, for our purposes, we always install, and if you notice the highlighted area, we always install the 12-inch spacing, 0.6 gallons per hour, and we always install the 0.6 so we could know we could utilize 360 linear feet. If you were to install the 0.9, that number drops to 230. If you install the 0.4, you could utilize more tubing, the 447. So again, you really got to know your product and know what you're installing when it comes to the drip irrigation. Now we have the built-in emitters here, which Rainbird manufactures. This is a far better system than the way the olden days things were done. People would use like the little blue or red emitters, and they would actually puncture a hole in a poly tubing and just put an emitter, and then water would only come out of that area. When this product is installed correctly, and they have a great illustration here, if you notice, the rows are spaced out every 12 inches. So you have a lateral row of drip. And if you notice, you also have a supply header here as well that comes in there. Your valve, point of connection, lateral rows every 12 inches. And then you also have something called an air relief valve, if you notice there. That is a vital component of a drip irrigation system. I'm going to go ahead and just put one together here real quick for us. So it comes in 2 pieces, the fitting, then the actual air relief valve. Just screws in there. And what it does, it allows water to go and enter, or air rather, to enter the line when it's not operational. So it'll help save your fittings as well as prevent a backflow or a quick vacuum of debris coming into the system when it first opens up. Another component that you really want to have is a clean out. So this is just a figure 8 here that comes to the end of the line. You could open it, flush out any debris. They do recommend doing that once a year, or if you ever have a break in line and you get debris going in there. So those are a couple components of it. And then, of course, prior to any valve we install, we always install a ball valve. This just isolates the water, your irrigation system, from the house line. So if you ever have to replace one of these valves, you don't got to shut off water to the entire house. simply to the irrigation system. So it's just a simple ball valve that we always install to isolate the water for the irrigation system. So there are a lot of different components. There's some algebra involved. You really got to have everything in a row. Know the product you're installing, know the capability of it, know how many gallons per minute you're installing for drip tubing, and all that will lead to a successful drip irrigation system for many, many years. With the drought, water is so precious. We want to use that precious resource to the best of our capability. So when you think sustainability and water saving, think EnviroScape LA.